Coming this week, only on Patreon.
Long enough.
You walked out of a dinner.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I ate the whole fucking dinner. They dragged out that dinner.
You walked out before the main course was
Listen,
served.
if I show up for a party and
Okay, I'll play a little bit more because this is a long clip, guys.
someone decides to torture me, I don't have to sit there and be tortured.
You have become the queen. That's what
Yeah.
you're doing. You are the queen.
Yeah, evidently.
And so
I didn't think so. I thought Artie was the queen.
Everything must be to your liking.
No.
And when you
I
decide it's over, it's over.
Robin, I'm not even going to talk to you. You didn't show up to Gary's party.
I'm
Let's not
simply
forget
telling
that.
you about you.
You weren't sick. You had a
was
tickle
sick.
in your throat. You're fucking full
I
of
still
shit.
feel like I might be coming down with something.
No, you're fine. I don't.
Okay, so first of all, I recorded something with Kayla this week, and we've recorded many times over the last 2 years where if you play a clip and this comes out first thing in the show, it's something that's definitely on his mind, and he's really pissed off about it because something's pissed off. If he starts off about a specific topic, it's bothering him. Mm-hmm. That's always his MO. But you heard the first part, and now you're hearing this. And unfortunately, you didn't hear the wrap-up show, but you did at one point originally hear it. So first, before we get into any more of this, what was your takes from the first episode?
From just when it was initially discussed?
Well, yeah, basically. And even when you heard it first time, I guess, that when it was fresh in your ears, did you think it wasn't such a big deal? Or were you kind of amazed that they all kind of unified and for once really did go in after him?
That was my initial feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Howard must have really been a fucking misery, and he was probably much worse than they're even letting on.
Mm-hmm.
The NPD elements outside of Keith Abelo may have been the highest that alarm point for me. And yeah, just the fact that they were all like openly talking about it pretty much told me that it was pretty bad. It was probably a pretty severe scene, you know?
Okay.
So those were my initial thoughts when it all happened.
Okay.
I thought it was, I still crack up about how he put her like dessert she took all day to make in a box and ate it on the drive home.
A doggy bag.
Like, dude, I treat what you did all day the same way I do an apple pie from McDonald's. Like,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck about you. So yeah, that was my initial thought, and then, kind of as I got more into learning about, that I heard it a long time, and then when I revisited it, years later, more things stuck out to me,
Sure.
with just a bigger knowledge base at that time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so I mean, so you think they're couching their real disdain or the real impact it had, like his leaving at the party, the dinner had, than they're letting on?
I think it was bad.
Yeah.
And you hear no one even had a conversation with him at it, really. I mean, no one talks about talking to him. I think he showed up and it was just signs of discontent, the piss mist, the eggshells, the whole thing that you hear about with them. Mm-hmm. And I find that people with NPD, they don't do that great. There's a big difference between an intimate dinner party like this with people that mm-hmm. and like a work function or birthday party or even regular party. Those are very kind of shallow scenarios where you can talk about bullshit. This is something where you know these people. It's a little bit more intimate. You're really going to have to talk. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a struggle because when we talk about how little Howard knows about everything, it's not even just how little, it's how much he cares about anything. It's hard for them to have these conversations. Like to sit down and really talk to one of them about something like this. These scenarios are really difficult for them.
Yeah. Well, it will have been released by the time this is out, but Kayla sat in for episode 2. along with Raven and Sam. And her contention was that when Howard started pulling into the drive or into the down the road and saw Bowie's house for the first time, that's when he really started to get upset and thinking, what the fuck is this? How can he have a place like this? And that started him off, and so he just totally decided, and it rings in true with something I listened to Stuttering John on it's actually, I'll send you the link. It's not the worst. It's better than his show, but he did an interview with this guy, and he kind of said the same thing when Howard visited his place in Manhattan when he was married to Susanna at the time, and he got a 2,000 square foot place in Manhattan, and for Stuttering John, at that time when he was there with the money he was making, that was the big deal.
Yeah, and but it's deep. It's deeper than that.
In what way?
They control. They don't get controlled. So whenever there's some kind of obligation that they have that they had to agree to, let's look back at the Jingle Ball concert.
Yeah.
They deeply resent that. They don't like things where they aren't in control. Like, when they go to dinners, he controls where they go. He controls, kind of the whole thing. If there's a party, if there's whatever, he's putting it on. He controls it. All of his dates are at his house. All of the work functions that he goes to are things that he's putting on, quote unquote. Right. So anytime that they're obligated to something and they have to actually go to it, they deeply resent it. I mean, immediately. And there is also the element, you have to remember, Howard hates that Gary is essentially a normal person. Yeah. He really doesn't like that. Not that Gary is like, your most neurotypical person, but he hates that he's even like Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is the message. So even just what that party represents is something that he hates, because he hates that Gary actually showed an interest, wants to see these people, wants to talk, wants to get to know them, because he wants that, but he can't. It's just not there.